The air show scene in the States, are you guys competitive, or are you all good friends? Are there any
Both.
rivalries, or you pretty much all
Yeah.
get
Oh,
on?
it's all the above. Yeah. I
Yeah, a
mean,
little
we're
bit
a
of
family,
everything.
sure. I mean, just being a pilot, there's a brotherhood, but it's even tighter as air show pilots, I believe. And but yeah, it's all the above. I mean, the hardest thing for me, believe it or not, becoming an air show pilot, being successful. Now I thought, okay, I'm going to practice every day, twice a day, and I'm going to make sure that I have a really good show, and then I'm going to go out and I'm going to, I'm going to be successful because I built a great airplane, and I've practiced hard for years, and I'm doing a good show, and that should be successful. But what I didn't add into that mix was politics.
Yeah,
And in the beginning, the politics I wasn't prepared for. I mean, there's a lot of people who've been doing shows for a long time, and here comes this new kid, and he's flying in the dirt like he's been, like he thinks he's somebody, and obviously he can't be. We've never heard of him. He must be dangerous, So I thought that for years, and I had I was a little bit of a hothead. Somebody say something about me, I'd get in their face, and so I learned some lessons along the way, and I could have definitely. I can give some advice to a younger guy now for sure that the politics is a big part of it.
yeah, we
But
have it here too a little bit. Uh,
yeah,
and but now you are considered one of the old dogs, so to speak, I suppose. I mean,
I guess so. Yeah, I guess
yeah.
so.
So, and who's new and up and coming in the States right now? Who's the Skip Steward
Uh,
of today, or like you were say
yeah,
15 years
yeah.
ago?
That's a difficult question. I mean, there's a lot of guys coming up. I mean, Kevin Coleman's probably the youngest guy who's had the most success. He was a Red Bull pilot before the Red Bull
Yes.
things did, and I think he was flying shows when he was 18 or 19 years old. And he's definitely um, at my level or better. I mean, and he's still a young guy. But there's a few guys out there. I don't know if anybody's really standing out. I mean, he's the one that I think about the most, probably.
Okay, so I once saw an interview with Lance Armstrong, and they said, and they asked him, who keeps you up at night? Who gets you up early in the morning? And he said, Jan Ulrich. He said, I'm always
Oh,
watching him. He said, I've watched how he trains. I watch him like a hawk. He gets me up early in the morning. He keeps me training hard. He keeps me up at night. Who's the
right.
guy in your world that keeps you up at night or gets you up early in
No,
the morning?
honestly, nobody keeps me up at night.
Nobody.
I'm pretty comfortable. I don't, with him, with Armstrong, he was a competition guy.
Yeah,
So it was a,
yeah.
a competition, and which is I can understand why, if you're trying to beat somebody. I did an air show competition. It was supposed to be televised and ended up falling apart. But it was me and Sergey Boryak. Where
Yes.
I would win, he would win, and so you're watching and trying. And he did a tail slide and turned the engine off on his M14. Prop stopped, and he beat me on that flight. And I was like, if I have to shut off my Lycoming, I might as well just give
Yeah,
up
you're not
now.
prepared to do that. Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. But yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm more in a position now where I'm not really competing against anybody else.
Yeah, you got your own unique gig and
Well, yeah, I mean, and I'm not doing it to prove. I used to do it to prove something, and then I've got the Bill Barber Award and the Art Scholl Award, so it's not like I'm coasting. I mean, I still want to be good, and I want to give the crowd a good show, and I don't want to lose my relevance. So I'm hard on myself from that standpoint, but I'm more in a position now where, when I came up, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anybody to help me out. I mean, I read books on aerobatics, and I went and burned gas. So what I try to do more than anything else is help other people out. I think I'm in a position where I can reach back and maybe give something back to the industry. So that's what's more important to me. So I guess if anything's keeping me up at night, which nothing is, but I mean, what's more
yeah.
important to me right now is just to give back to the industry and, help the people out that are coming along and the people who've been here a while if they need help. And that's, just the industry is kind of fragile, being attacked from all sides, the safety aspect and regulations and all these things. And I just want to do my part to make sure that it stays around for a while, because I think it's a very inspiring thing to do. I think
Yeah,
it's
it
one of
is.
the best outdoor family oriented sports, if you will, entertainment aspects that you can have. And I've enjoyed it my whole life. I've devoted my life to it, and I'd like to see it stay around a while and do my part to see that happens.
Okay, good. And tell me, so you say you didn't have any mentors, but who did you look up to? Who are your heroes, so to speak?
I had mentors. I didn't really have any mentors. I had people I looked up to. The first air show I went to, Leo Laudenslager was there.
Yes.
And what got me into aerobatics in the first place was I built and flew remote controlled airplanes since I was 9 years old. And I had a blue Laser 200, before he was Bud Light. But for some reason, I was about 14 years old when I went to that air show. And for some reason, I didn't really think that these models were models of real airplanes. And when I was flying them, that I'm emulating somebody who's actually doing it.
Yes.
And there it was in my face, Leo Laudenslager with his Laser 200 doing snap rolls 10 feet off the ground, blew me away. I mean, that was like the inspirational moment to me. Some people go and see, the Blue Angels or the Red Arrows or the Thunderbirds, and they want to join the military, or they see a young girl sees an ice skater that wins a gold medal and she wants to, that's her passion, becomes ice skating, whatever, gymnastics or whatever it may be. For me, it was seeing Leo Laudenslager that day. And I was just like, I'm going to do whatever I need to do in my life to be successful enough to make enough money so I can have an airplane and try to do what he just did, because it was just that, it just touched me. That's what I wanted to do. And then I find out that he, what we call in remote control airplane world, kit bashed his airplane. You buy a model airplane kit and then you change it around and into something else. Like
his was the Stevens Acro, if I'm
he started with the Stevens Acro, and then he basically
just
became the grandfather of the modern aerobatic monoplane. From that, and of course he was very successful with it. So Leo made me want to be an airshow pilot. And then in I think it was 89 or 90, I went to Oshkosh for the first time and saw Sean Tucker fly, and that was inspirational to me, because that's the moment that I knew I had to have a biplane.
Yes.
And then I would say the next one would be Jim Leroy, Bulldog. And I was fortunate to work with him and actually get trained and mentor with him. I was already an airshow pilot. It was in 2005 when we started working together. And unfortunately, was flying with him the day that he crashed in 2007.
Yeah, it was sad.
Tragically, that was the worst day of my life, for sure. But he helped me a lot, because that's really the first time that I had an airshow pilot that I looked up to sit me down and have a conversation, and that I could open up to about how I wanted to fly and what I was trying to do and the difficulties I was having with getting there, and have somebody actually talk to me instead of at me.
Yes.
I tried to do it with some of the other guys, but like I was saying about politics, they didn't want to.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism. You're dangerous and you're going to kill yourself and you're going to pull the wings off. And you're like, well, tell me how I cannot do that. Then that would be it. In front of a bunch of people. Instead of, hey man, come here, let me buy you a beer, let's have a talk. And and Jim was the first person to do that for me. So of all the heroes that I've had, I would say Jim's the one that I would call the mentor.
That's
for
good
me.
to know.
Yeah.
And you right now, do you have somebody that's under your wing, so to speak, that you mentoring, or?
I've got a Cessna 152, and I've soloed several 16-year-olds on their birthday, and I've got some of them that are flying for airlines, and some have joined the military, and none of them have stepped into the airshow world yet. But I have helped out, lots of guys that are coming up. Anybody that wants help, I've lent a hand
to help.
I've had my aerobatic box, and I'll get emails all the time from people asking me for advice, and I don't want to say names, but yeah, I'm here for anybody that wants to talk about that stuff. And I don't consider myself necessarily an expert. I'm good at what I do, but I can learn as much from a new guy as they can learn from me most of the time.
And your flying school now, is that still up? Are you still operating your flying school?
No, I haven't had a flying school since I sold my S2A, and that was in like 2000. It's still, I think there's still probably a website you can find out there somewhere, but I bought an S2A, and I was about 25 years old. And so for about 5 years, gave a lot of dual instruction in that, and tail sign-offs and things like that, primarily because I needed to be able to afford to put gas in it so I could fly it myself.
Okay. And one or two more questions. Fitness, health. Do you have a regime, or you just perpetual motion, working hard? And
yeah, I eat well. and I think that helps. And fly hard and often. I get that question quite a bit. You know, oh, you must work out a lot, and I did
Yeah.
work out a lot when I was younger. I mean, quite a bit, like every day. I take Sundays off, but you know, work out
Yeah.
weights and run and all that kind of stuff. But I'd say for the last 15 years, I haven't, as far as exercise is concerned, done that much. But I do fly hard and often, and as you know, that's definitely a good workout. It's a core workout. 9 minutes of aggressive aerobatics is a good workout.
Yeah, and all the maintenance and just the general running around that is required to run an aerobatic aircraft, and yeah, just keeping yourself busy.
That's
And
right.
what personal question? Wife, kids? Are you married? Do you have children?
I have been married, and I do have a kid.
Yeah. Don't have to answer if you don't want to. Yeah, but it's interesting to know.
Yeah, I have an 11-year-old daughter. She's actually here with me. She's right here. You want to say hi?
Okay, yeah, come say hi.
Just woke up. It's early in the morning for her.
How are you doing?
Hi.
She looks very similar to my daughter in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh, that's great. And is she enthusiastic about airplanes?
Not really enthusiastic, I wouldn't say, but she flies. She's been flying since she was about 3 weeks old. So she just looks at an airplane like it's a car. You know, she doesn't think it's a big deal. And I've taken her up in the 152 a couple of times, and you know, actually given her some lessons, and she's really good. So if she decides to pursue that, I'll obviously make that happen for her. But I'm just taking the approach of, you know, I don't push anything on her. I want her to find her own passion. If it happens to be aviation, awesome, because I have everything she needs to be successful as a pilot. But we also have horses, and you know, so she likes the horses as well.
Okay.
And you know, she's 11. She'll figure it out what she wants. And then,
so have your horses on your property?
Yes.
Ah, that's wonderful.
We have Spanish Andalusians.
Gee, that's great. And the future for Skip Steward, are you going to still focus wholly on the solo realm of aerobatics, or do you have any other do you have any other thoughts on where you might want to go and try something different on the air show?
Well, you know, I've done a lot of collaborations. It started with Jim Leroy. You know, he was flying with Jim Franklin. And Bobby Young,
Disaster
and the jet truck and Rich's Incredible Pyro.
Yeah.
And then I got in on that, you know, after Jim and Bobby's accident. And then after Jim's accident, I continued it. And we did a show called 10 Sticks of Dynamite, and I fly with I've flown with Patty Wagstaff and with Jurgis Kairos and others doing that show, and probably most successfully with Melissa Pemberton. She's now Melissa Berman.
She's now in Alaska, hanging out in Alaska.
She's in Alaska. She's married, got a couple of kids. She's taking some time off the air industry. So when she decided to do that, I still do occasionally with Kyle Franklin, and I do a duel together. And Gary Ward and I have flown together some. Not as much as we used to. It used to be at least half of my air shows I was flying with Melissa. Of course, she would do her solo, I would do my solo, and then we would do a duel, sometimes with Pyro and a jet truck. I would still like to do that. I think the crowd enjoys that type of show. Yeah. I don't really have any plans right now, but I'm waiting for kind of the right person to come along, because you know, Jim and I together, you know, it was awesome. You know, two kick-ass biplanes, and you know, and Melissa and I were also good. Just you know, she's a competition-oriented pilot, but we worked really well together. So I'm looking for that opportunity again, but my passion's always going to be on my solo, and I'll do it until nobody wants to hire me anymore, until I lose my relevance, you know, or my body can't physically take it anymore. But I don't really have anything other than that specifically in mind.
Great. And Melissa, has she left the air show scene? Or was she taking a break?
She's left the air show scene. She sold her Edge 540, but she has a Cub, and she's thinking about getting back in and maybe doing some sort of a comedy.
Like a crazy flying kind of act.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe a car to plane transfer, but she's just started talking about that. Her kids are getting to the age now. I guess they're walking in, you know, two and three maybe, or 2 and 4. I can't remember how old they are, but they're getting to the point now where she could probably get out and do some shows. So
Okay.
I just had a conversation with her a couple of days ago about she's working on getting her waiver back so that she can do some shows.
Are you sponsored, or are you?
I have a lot of product sponsors, you know, like Lycon engines, Whirlwind propellers, Skytech starters, Softy parachutes. I mean, I give you a long list. Concord batteries, Sarasota avionics, you know, but nobody gives me money. I don't have like a title sponsor.
Okay, so they just provide you with the parts and whatnot.
It's very helpful. Yeah, as you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wheels, brakes, tires, propellers, you know, engine spark plugs, parachutes, avionics, all that kind of stuff.